Alright guys, in this video I am talking about Samurai Champloo. This is an anime I haven't spoken about in 3 years, and everyone seemed to love the analysis I covered in that video, such as its influence from hip hop, samurai or capoeira all mixed into one bag which birthed the anime. Samurai Champloo is easily a contender in my top 10 anime of all time, since it's pretty clear I am a fan of hip hop. For example, watch my Rappers into Anime video series to learn about hip hop artists and how they are influenced by anime with their music. I will eventually continue those videos too in due time, but let's get back to topic. When a genre of music is implemented so seamless and intricately in the storytelling of Samurai Champloo, it's pretty obvious why someone would love this anime for that simple reason. Samurai Champloo has one of the greatest anime soundtracks of all time in my opinion. Let me know in the comment section if you agree. But as always, let's dive into Samurai Champloo and how it created an icon named Nujabes. So, Shinichiro Watanabe, a renowned director within anime, I personally haven't come across any anime fans that have disliked his work. Cowboy Bebop is an international cult hit which utilized a mix of sci-fi with western genres whilst at the same time influenced by jazz. Watanabe is a director who makes music play a fundamental role in his anime. He has a creative mind which takes inspiration from music itself when creating anime sequences, settings or plot. Taking a look at Samurai Champloo for example, it's another cult classic that I love, which is a play on the word shampuru, which means mix, but this time it's inspired from hip hop rather than jazz. Thus it helped create a subgenre of hip hop-esque anime and influenced lo-fi hip hop due to Nujabes making it more mainstream. In Watanabe's own words, he states, "When I first come up with the idea of what I'm going to create, quite often the music appears at the same time. So with Samurai Champloo, it wasn't that I had the story in mind and then added hip hop to it. When I came up with the character of Mugen, I heard hip hop at the same time and I thought he was going to be a rapper samurai." We can see this very idea come alive literally within the first episode of Samurai Champloo, with Mugen flowing with the tempo of the music, much like a breakdancer would, which is also a culture associated with hip hop. Being a fan of hip hop myself and knowing the history of its creation, the major artists that propelled it forward and the representation of what the culture can mean within society, for me, during a second viewing of Samurai Champloo, it's easy to identify Mugen as being an outcast, much like how the pioneers of hip hop felt like. As we mentioned in our 5 things you didn't know about Samurai Champloo video, Mugen is from a nation called the Ryukyu. His attire, demeanor and style all make him out to be a standout outlier in the Edo era of Japan where the anime is set in. His counterpart samurai, Jin, however, is more of a traditional samurai who is a juxtaposition of Mugen. He's still just as lethal, but just like hip hop, different people bring different aspects to the art, and Fu represents the unity and family bond that the three will have with their journey, and just like how music as hip hop does, they create a common goal within the people that admire it. When you meet someone that has seen Samurai Champloo and asks the simple question, what is the most redeemable thing from the show that you like? I'm pretty sure 9 out of 10 people would tell you that the soundtrack or the opening theme is really good, and one of the biggest reasons behind that is because of Nujabes. Samurai Champloo is set in Edo, Japan, however just like lo-fi or hip-hop, which borrows from many other genres such as jazz, classical or dance from various time periods, Samurai Champloo embodies this very idea of mixing with the graffiti it shows or the famous baseball episodes we all love, and lastly beatboxing. The director of the anime Watanabe assembled various people to create the soundtrack of the anime such as Fat John, Shingo Enen, Force of Nature, Sushi and lastly Nujabes. And now in my opinion, all these artists helped make one of the greatest soundtracks of all time with their use of sampling soul or jazz production, which helped propel lo-fi to what it is today. Watanabe mentioned himself how Nujabes was the first name that came to mind when I thought of creating music for Samurai Champloo, so I think we were able to perform a great and spectacular collaboration together. I had a dialogue with him after we finished working on the show, and until then he had been working almost exclusively in Japan. But after Samurai Champloo, he got a lot of great positive feedback from many people outside of Japan, so he was very happy with that. For those of you that don't know who Nujabes is, let me do a quick recap. Nujabes was born in Tokyo, Japan. He had opened his own record store called Guinness Records. In an interview with Sound and Recording magazine, he stated he started making music because he wanted to hear tracks that sampled old soul and jazz which he liked. This eventually inspired him to create his own record label called Hideout Productions, in which Nujabes released his first solo album. He later then got a deal to work with Samurai Champloo the anime, thus creating his most successful album called Model Soul. Nujabes is a notable DJ whose approach to producing hip-hop beats is noted to often blend jazz influences into his music, which creates a mellow and atmospheric sound. This is essentially why his work is often regarded by fans to be an inspiration into the development of the micro-genre in music called lo-fi hip-hop. Personally, in my opinion, I can admit to you that I have been listening to Nujabes' music long before I even discovered what Samurai Champloo was. I came across his album on YouTube and listened to it countless times throughout the years, and once discovering Samurai Champloo the anime and knowing Nujabes created the soundtrack, I knew perfectly well I would love the anime from the start, since the production provides an atmospheric tone Shinichiro Watanabe utilizes perfectly. The lo-fi hip-hop genre of music is most focused on sampling jazz, acoustic or old songs from the past, which are then backed up with down-tempo drums and effects such as poor audio quality or static. Lo-fi hip-hop has technical flaws that fundamentally make it artistic in its own way. The biggest cultural influences to note for this genre are J Dilla, Madlib and Nujabes. Within the community of lo-fi music, it is essentially associated with anime. Samurai Champloo is the literal go-to reference point for the history of this genre, which has ramped up in popularity in recent years due to YouTube. Anime or other Adult Swim cartoons that aired later at night are used as visual aesthetics to these type of songs that contribute to the relaxing, nostalgic and deep thinking vibe these type of songs provide. So I personally would put Samurai Champloo's soundtrack in my top 10 favorite, and most anime fans tend to agree if I do. So why is that? Why does lo-fi hip-hop beats or the jazz-induced songs Nujabes produced for Samurai Champloo sound so great to all of us? Well, lo-fi hip-hop or Nujabes per se rely on simplicity rather than complexity of the song. The best tracks of lo-fi or Samurai Champloo are in essence often using one sampled part of a song or a track which is then repeated over and over again, whilst the producer will add obviously their own flair with various effects such as white noise, vinyl cracks or a hip-hop beat, which triggers a certain melodic groove for us. It instantly triggers our interest as a result. For example, let's take a look at one of my favourite tracks from Samurai Champloo, Missline. It's a simple beat on repeat which Nujabes sampled from 1966 called Here's That Rainy Day. Take a look. Or what about another fan favourite, Aurorian Dance, which instantly reminds all of us of Samurai Champloo, wherever or whenever we hear it. But the funny thing is, this is also sampled from a song from 1969 called The Lamp Is Low. Now, I don't want this video to get too long and bore you, but essentially most tracks are created in this manner. Lo-fi music is generally grounded and kinda repetitive. This appeals to those of us that might be fed up with the ever-changing sound of pop music and the way it dives into various tempos or subject matters at such a fast pace, hence affecting your mood, or most songs basically tell you how to feel or what to think about. So while songs from Samurai Champloo, they give us whatever vibe you interpret it to be, according to your subjective taste or view you take. Take a look at Missline for example. Some people have told me it makes them happy, some say it's nostalgic, or others mention it's a cozy vibe. I guess what I mean to say is, what makes this type of music addictive to listeners is that we don't actually have to overanalyze the music due to it already having few elements that distract you. In the community of music production, lo-fi hip-hop actually gets a lot of criticism because some may view it as a lazy way, since the whole point of the genre is to sample an already amazing beat from the past and minimalizing it to your artistry. Part of the art is kinda cheating if you think about it. It's repeating the best bit of the song over and over for listeners to binge on. Nevertheless, I'm sure I'm not the only one that turns on lo-fi music, which includes Samurai Champloo songs, while studying or playing video games or doing house chores in the background, and there's a reason why we all do this. Samurai Champloo's music, or lo-fi in general, has a certain ambience to it. The production of the genre is subtle and is crafted in a way that helps itself to sustain us in a moment. This again is exemplified in Samurai Champloo. The music isn't overbearing, it actually coats our ears with pockets of brilliance in conjunction with scenes that have been crafted to go perfectly with it. At the end of the day, Samurai Champloo is indeed one of my favourite anime of all time, and I may make a video discussing that. Let me know your opinion in the comment section below if you'd like that, or what your opinion of the anime is. But there's no denying that this anime did help create an icon named Nujabes, since his impact has created essentially a cult following in hip hop today. His music has stretched so far in the world that even the likes of Joey Badass or Das Racist and many others have sampled or taken inspiration from the style he helped pioneer. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Remember to hit the like button and the notification button if you did, and if you'd like to follow me on social media to stay updated with me, make sure you do. So as always, I'll catch you guys on the next one and see you next time.